Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka, a name that would later become synonymous with horror and deceit. On the surface, they seemed like the perfect couple. Their smiles were bright, their affection genuine, and their public appearances always left an impression of a fairy tale romance. Young, attractive, and deeply in love. They were the kind of couple that others envied, the kind that seemed to have it all. They radiated a normalcy that was almost disarming. Their laughter was infectious, their joy palpable. They met in 1987, their shared charisma undeniable. From the moment they locked eyes, it was as if destiny had brought them together. He was charming, with a quick wit and an easy smile. His presence could light up a room, and he knew exactly how to use it to his advantage. She was beautiful, with a sweet demeanor and a loving gaze. Her kindness seemed boundless, and she had a way of making everyone feel special. Their romance blossomed quickly, their connection seemingly unbreakable. They were the epitome of young love, full of promise and potential. They were inseparable, their love a public spectacle. Everywhere they went, they were the center of attention, the couple everyone wanted to be. Wedding bells soon followed, cementing their image as the ideal couple. Their wedding was a grand affair, a celebration of their perfect union. But beneath the surface, a darkness festered. A darkness that no one could have imagined, hidden behind their perfect smiles. A shared taste for the perverse. Their private lives were a stark contrast to their public personas, filled with secrets and sinister desires, a hunger for power and control. They thrived on manipulation and dominance, their true nature hidden from the world. Their seemingly idyllic life was a carefully constructed facade, a facade that was beginning to crack, revealing the horrors beneath. Behind closed doors, a sinister reality played out, a reality that was far removed from the image they projected to the world. The charming facade masked a horrifying truth, a truth that was waiting to be uncovered, lurking in the shadows of their perfect life. A truth that would soon send shockwaves through Canada and beyond. The world would soon learn the true nature of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka, and the perfect facade would be shattered forever. What transforms seemingly ordinary individuals into perpetrators of unspeakable acts? Is it a single moment of weakness, or a gradual descent into darkness? The making of monsters is a complex and often disturbing process, one that defies simple explanations. The path to darkness is rarely linear, often paved with a complex interplay of personality, experience, and opportunity. It's a journey marked by choices, each one leading further away from the light. The road is winding, filled with twists and turns that obscure the destination until it's too late to turn back. Paul Bernardo, a handsome and charismatic young man, harbored a deep well of sadism beneath his charming exterior. His outward appearance was a mask, hiding the darkness that lurked within. To those who knew him casually, he seemed like the perfect gentleman, but behind closed doors, his true nature began to reveal itself. Early exposure to pornography, coupled with a fragile ego and a need for control, began to warp his perception of women. What started as a curiosity quickly turned into an obsession, feeding his darker impulses. The explicit material he consumed became a blueprint for his twisted fantasies, each image and video pushing him further down a path of depravity. Karla Homolka, on the surface a sweet and unassuming girl next door, possessed her own demons. Her innocent facade was a carefully constructed lie, hiding a mind capable of great cruelty. She was drawn to Paul, not despite his darkness, but because of it. Together they formed a bond that would unleash horrors upon the world. Her seemingly innocent demeanor masked a capacity for cruelty and manipulation that would soon become horrifyingly clear. Karla was not a passive participant in their crimes. She was an active and willing accomplice. Her ability to deceive those around her made her a dangerous partner in their sinister endeavors. Together, they fueled each other's darkest desires. Their relationship was a toxic symbiosis, each one drawing out the worst in the other. They whispered their darkest secrets to each other, finding solace in their shared depravity. Their bond was not one of love but of mutual destruction. Their relationship, far from being a testament to love, became a toxic breeding ground for their shared perversions. They thrived on the chaos they created, each act of cruelty binding them closer together. Their love was a dark and twisted thing, feeding off the pain and suffering of others. They encouraged and enabled each other, their desires spiraling into increasingly disturbing fantasies. What began as whispered confessions soon turned into elaborate plans. They reveled in their shared darkness, each one pushing the other to go further, to cross lines that should never be crossed. The line between fantasy and reality blurred. What was once confined to their imaginations began to spill over into the real world. They lost themselves in their dark desires, unable to distinguish between what was real and what was fantasy. The consequences of their actions became an afterthought, overshadowed by their need to fulfill their twisted cravings. They craved the thrill of transgression, the power over another human being. It was not enough to fantasize. They needed to act, to feel the rush of control and dominance. Their crimes were not just about satisfying their desires, but about asserting their power over their victims. In their minds, they were not just perpetrators but masters of their own dark universe. The first shadow of their horrific acts fell upon Karla's own sister Tammy. Tammy was a bright and cheerful teenager, full of life and dreams. She was the kind of person who could light up a room with her smile, completely unaware of the dark intentions brewing within her own family. A young and innocent girl, she became the object of Paul's twisted desires. Paul, who had already shown signs of his malevolent nature, saw Tammy as an easy target. His obsession grew, and he began to manipulate Karla, convincing her to betray her own flesh and blood. Karla, instead of protecting her sister, became a willing participant in her abuse. She was blinded by her infatuation with Paul, willing to do anything to please him, even if it meant sacrificing her sister's safety and well-being. On December 24, 1990, under the guise of a Christmas gift, they drugged Tammy and presented her to Paul. The festive atmosphere masked the sinister plot unfolding behind closed doors. Tammy, trusting her sister, had no reason to suspect the horror that awaited her. The assault, aided by Karla, proved fatal. Tammy's cries for help went unanswered as the night turned into a nightmare. The betrayal by her own sister was the ultimate act of treachery. Tammy choked to death on her own vomit. The scene was gruesome, a tragic end to a young life filled with potential. The horror of that night would haunt those who knew the truth. The official cause of death was ruled accidental, a tragic mishap. The authorities, unaware of the true events, closed the case, leaving the family to grieve a loss they could never fully understand. But the truth, buried beneath layers of deceit and manipulation, was far more sinister. The real story was one of calculated cruelty and cold-hearted betrayal, hidden from the world. This act, fueled by a toxic cocktail of depravity and indifference, marked the beginning of their reign of terror. It was the first of many horrors that would unfold, each more shocking than the last, as Karla and Paul descended further into their dark and twisted world. Emboldened by their horrific act, Paul's predations escalated. He began a series of brutal sexual assaults in the Scarborough area of Toronto. Young women were snatched from the streets, their lives forever altered by the trauma inflicted upon them. His methods were brutal, his victims left physically and emotionally scarred. The police were baffled, the assaults were brazen, the perpetrator seemingly unstoppable. The city lived in fear, the unknown assailant dubbed the Scarborough Rapist by the media. Little did they know the monster they sought was hiding in plain sight, living a seemingly normal life with his unsuspecting fiancée. Section 5. A Web of Deceit. As Paul terrorized Scarborough, Karla played the role of the concerned fiancée to perfection. She feigned ignorance, offering comfort and support to the man she knew to be a monster. She even provided alibis, further cementing his facade of normalcy. Her deceit ran deep, her manipulation masterful. She was a master manipulator, playing the victim while enabling the victimizer. She even lured young girls into their web of depravity. Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French, two innocent teenagers, became their next victims. Their abductions, their torture, and their murders were recorded on videotape, a chilling testament to the couple's depravity. Section 6. The Deal with the Devil. The investigation into the Scarborough Rapist finally led police to Paul Bernardo's doorstep. Evidence linked him to the crimes, and he was arrested. Karla, now facing scrutiny for her potential role in the crimes, made a chilling decision. She struck a deal with the devil, offering information and testimony against Paul in exchange for a reduced sentence. This deal with the devil would become one of the most controversial chapters in Canadian legal history. The full extent of her involvement was not yet known. The videos, documenting their crimes in horrifying detail, were yet to be discovered. Section 7. Justice Interrupted. The nation watched in horror as the details of Paul Bernardo's crimes were revealed in court. He was convicted on multiple counts of kidnapping, sexual assault, and murder. He was sentenced to life in prison, his reign of terror finally over. Karla, for her part, received a 12-year sentence for manslaughter. The leniency of her sentence, based on her portrayal as a victim of Paul's manipulation, sparked outrage. The public felt betrayed, the perception of justice tarnished. The full horror of her complicity remained hidden, buried beneath the carefully constructed narrative of a coerced participant. Section 8. Scars on a Nation. The discovery of the videotapes years later revealed the true extent of Karla Homolka's involvement. She was not a victim but an active participant in the torture and murder of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French. The nation watched in horror as the tapes played, the images seared into their collective memory. The outrage was palpable. The justice system had failed, duped by a master manipulator. Karla Homolka, the woman who betrayed Canada, became synonymous with evil. The case sparked a national conversation about domestic violence, victim blaming, and the flaws in the justice system. Section 9. Unmasking Evil. The case of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka continues to haunt Canada. It serves as a stark reminder that evil can lurk beneath the most charming facades. It highlights the complexities of human relationships and the ease with which one person can influence another. Their crimes left an indelible mark on the national psyche, forcing a nation to confront the uncomfortable realities of violence against women, the fallibility of the justice system, and the enduring power of deception. The case continues to be studied, analyzed, and debated, a grim reminder of the darkness that can fester beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives.